What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Finger WAG podcast. My name is Gideon Hertz. I'm the host of the Finger WAG podcast. Excited to be back with you today to talk more Georgetown hoops. A little bit of a different show today. Going to be a shorter show. Going to be a solo show. Hoping not to do many, if any, of these solo shows moving forward, but we're in the dog days of summer. Schedules are what they are. There's not a ton to talk about, but we've got a little bit of a news and notes and update, particularly on the recruiting side, that I want to bring to you all today and do a kind of quick preview of signature summer recruiting event, Peach Jam, which is getting underway today. We'll be going through the weekend where some of the top recruits in the country will be taking the floor in South Carolina in front of a lot of different college coaches, all of them expected to be there. I assume Georgetown will be as well. Don't have news on that necessarily, but I would be surprised if Georgetown was not there in some form or fashion. We've got a article up on the website right now, thefingerwag.com, giving you an in-depth preview of guys that Georgetown has been recruiting most heavily and who will be playing at Peach Jam that you should be looking at, as well as their schedules, so you can tune into the live streams if you want. The way the live streams work is all of the games, the first round or group games, are live streamed on the Peach Jam website. We've got the schedule and the link there on the site. And then, at least in the past couple of years, ESPN has broadcast the semifinals or finals or the late rounds, where hopefully we'll get some of the Georgetown hopefuls and guys that Georgetown is looking to bring in next year to hop on national TV, which would be cool. So what I'm going to do today is just go through 4 of the players who are playing in Peach Jam. They're names that Georgetown has been connected to recently, as well as historically. These are guys that we know that Georgetown is in on and have prioritized. A lot of these names, most of these names you'll be really familiar with. One of them we talked a little bit about last week with Jake Foote, Luca Foster, who was on campus earlier this summer, and it looks to be a priority for Georgetown, even though they got in late. But these are some of the best players in the country going up against some of the other best players in the country. So there's a lot of opportunity to get a good feel for how these players will be in college. And I'm not going to give you full breakdowns of all of them. I'm going to encourage you to watch Peach Jam and share your thoughts on these guys, but I'll give you just my very quick thoughts on each of them, as well as any news and notes that are relevant to their recruiting and to their games at Peach Jam. So like I said, we've got 4 players who are on my list in terms of guys Georgetown's looking at in recruiting. There may be others, and we'll add to this list and to this post if we get word that Georgetown's looking seriously at other players in the 2026 class. We are going to focus on the 2026 class. There are obviously other classes and younger guys playing at different levels in Peach Jam, but for our purposes, we're focusing on the guys who are going to be coming to Georgetown in the near future, or hopefully coming to Georgetown in the near future. And this is a good combination. Got 2 local kids who you all probably know and will know the names of, but we'll go into them. Two guys from one of the dominant teams, Team Takeover, which is, I think, a hopeful to win the tournament and maybe get on ESPN in those final days. And then 2 guys who are a little bit more under the radar, like I said, Luca Foster, who we'll get into. We talked about last week with Jake Foote, and kid out of the West playing for Vegas AAU team, Maximo Adams, who I'm excited to talk about. I'll start with the Team Takeover guys, the locals, who, if you're listening to this, you know these guys well, I think. These are 2 players that Georgetown has been involved with and targeting at least for the last year, maybe even longer. And Ed Cooley, I think, has prioritized these guys. Little bit of a question of whether they still have a shot and have a good connection with them even after Kenny Johnson, formerly with Team Takeover, who was on the Georgetown staff and left to go to Indiana, if they would still have a shot with these guys. Based off of what they've said recently, I think the answer is yes, but who really knows? recruiting is a big black box that we can't really see inside of all the time. So anybody's guess there, but it seems like we still have a shot. There was a third team takeover player, Prince Alexander Moody, who did end up going to Indiana and committed earlier this month, went with Kenny Johnson. He was a Georgetown recruit as well. Georgetown had their eye on him and were really looking at him. And the relationship with Kenny Johnson clearly was the deciding factor there. So he is off the board, but we'll still be playing with these two other guys. And the first of which is a name that you will get to know very well if you don't already, whether he plays at Georgetown or not. That is Jordan Smith Jr. Jordan is the number 2 ranked player in the 2026 class. Some people have him 1, I think, but some of the sites that I look at, 24/7 Rivals, have him number 2. He's a 6'2", hopefully 6'2", combo guard, more of an on-ball guy, though he can play off-ball, which he did for the USA at the FIBA U19 World Cup recently as well. He's from Fairfax, so very local, obviously a guy that Georgetown has been prioritizing, and obviously he, as the number 2 recruit in the class, he would be a good get. That would be a good get for Georgetown for sure. And they seem to be in the mix, though, with a lot of blue bloods. This is a typical top 5 recruitment that is exciting that Georgetown's in, but we're hoping for, not a Nerlens Noel situation. I think the last time, if he does commit to Georgetown, he'll be the highest rated recruit to come to Georgetown since at least Greg Monroe. I'm not sure that Greg Monroe was even as high as Jordan is, but I think he was around there, a top 5 guy. So would be huge. And Jordan is a just all around great player. As I said, he played recently with the U19 national team at the FIBA World Cup, where Julius Halefanua was. We talked about that. We didn't talk about Jordan's play, but he started for that team with guys who are are either in college now, like Merez Johnson, or going into college like AJ DeBansta, who is the top recruit this year going to BYU. He was on the starting 5. He averaged 8.4 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, and 2.7 steals. So he was at just 8, 2, and 2 there for the tournament. He is a do-it-all guy, and the thing that pops for him, other than his athleticism, I think, is everything that he does at pace. And he's very quick, very deliberate. He's got really, really good end-to-end speed, but he is able to stay in control, I think. The way he scores is he gets to the rim, and he is quicker than you. He's stronger than you, and he's a better finisher than you. So he is going to get to the rim and get buckets. The shot, we'll see, needs a little bit of work. Doesn't look like the greatest shot in the world. Not the worst, certainly. It's going to be something that he's going to have to work on, I think, to jump up at the next level, but something that he can definitely do. On the EYBL circuit, over 15 games in this session, so in the past year, he's played 15 games on the AAU circuit in EYBL. He is first in plus-minus, player efficiency, and their sort of catch-all stat, which is performance index. You can make a very clear argument that he is the best player on the EYBL circuit, which is, you could make an argument, as the best AAU circuit in the country. So transitive property, is Jordan Smith the best recruit in America in the class of 2026? It's up to you. Some guys like Tyron Stokes, another guy who's on the EYBL circuit, and will be playing it at Peach Jam. Jordan also defends incredibly well, plays really hard, and I think that's part of what sets him apart. Is, again, he's faster than you, but he's going to run harder than you too, which is a great combination. He's averaging 19, 7, and 3 over his 15 games on the EYBL circuit. So scoring, sometimes stats and those types of things for EYBL can be a little bit misleading. It's not always the best basketball. Team Takeover, notoriously one of the better teams, and plays a better system and team system than a lot of other teams, but he's produced, and he will produce at the next level. He will produce at the level after that, whether he does that, whether he's a one and done or not. In terms of his recruiting, he's being recruited like the second or third or top 5 player in the country. He's got teams like Arkansas on him. Duke is heavily involved. Kentucky, Louisville, Syracuse apparently is involved. But Georgetown's involved and has been for a long time. Ed Cooley has clearly made him a priority. He had this to say about Ed Cooley and Georgetown recently. This is from Adam Zagoria's blog, Zag's blog. He said about Georgetown, relationship is really good. I love Ed Cooley. He was there in Switzerland at the FIBA World Cup. My parents hung out with him a lot. It was just good to see him there and really support me. He said he was staying until we won the gold medal, which he did. So it's really good. He lets his guards rock out. That's what he told me he was going to do, and I saw that a lot too. That's a good quote. Again, you got to read a lot of tea leaves, and the tea leaves are usually misleading in some way or just flat out wrong, but good quote. I mean, recruiting is all about relationships, and that sounds like Ed Cooley's got a good relationship. Whether that means he's going to come to Georgetown, I have no idea. Is it a failure if he doesn't come to Georgetown based off of that relationship? No, because that's not the only thing that matters. It says that Georgetown is doing what they need to do, even without Kenny Johnson there. Ed has clearly made him a priority. Went to Switzerland to not only watch Julius, but to watch Jordan. And Jordan is really, really good. I encourage you to find some time to watch Team Takeover, because Jordan is fun to watch. He's a guy that if he comes to Georgetown, everybody will love. Not just because he's good, but he plays hard. Next, from Team Takeover, we've got Qayden Samuels. Qayden with a Q. Love that spelling. Frankly, I think that's just a badass name. Qayden Samuels, another guy from Team Takeover, another local guy. He's ranked number 18 in the 2026 class, kind of a consensus top 20 guy. He's a 6'5" small forward. There's Bishop McNamara from Maryland, another local kid. He's been at a lot of games last year. Another guy who Ed Cooley and staff have prioritized. Like I said, there were 3 guys on this Team Takeover team for the 2026 class that Ed Cooley was in on early and really wanted to prioritize, and that's Jordan Smith, Kane Samuels, and Prince Alexander Moody. Moody went to Indiana. Samuels and Smith are still open, and Georgetown has emphasized. He is a really smooth scorer, really a smooth shooter. He's averaging just over 20 points per game, which is 10th on the EYBL circuit. I think he was up to 5th at one point at 21 points per game. Either way, he scores, and he scores a lot because he can shoot the whatever out of the ball. He's a lefty, which is always fun. I think it's, sneaky. It's not a huge advantage, but sometimes it can help you because guys are used to closing out on righties. So when they have to close out on a lefty, it may give you an extra second. But he has got a really smooth shot. I'm always very impressed with his shot, about how he gets his feet set. He gets his feet under him really well. His sort of stance is a little bit different. He's got kind of a staggered one forward, one back stance, but it's really solid. Seems to work really well for him, and his feet are really good coming off of screens and movement shooting, which I think is a place where he needs to get better and do more at the next level and the level after that. But all signs indicate that he's a shooter for sure. He's 3rd in plus minus on the EYBL circuit behind his teammate Jordan Smith. I think that's indicative of how good Team Takeover is, and 2 guys in the starting lineup of that team, I think in the starting lineup of that team, are high up on the plus minus list. But he is a really solid shooter, a lot of spot up shooting right now, so sanding and getting a pass to him and shooting, but he can do other things. He can come off ball screens. He can come off screens or off ball screens, excuse me. He's obviously a small forward. I think he's comparable to a guy that we talked about last week in Alex Constanza, another 6'7", 6'8" small forward, a consensus top 20 guy as well. Both are 5-star top 20. They're basically ranked. I think Qayden is ranked 18th and Constanza is ranked 20th or something. Constanza obviously a little bit bigger, a little bit more shifty, does a little bit more on ball than Qayden does. That may be because Qayden has guys around him to initiate offense as more so than Constanza does, but Constanza does a lot more on-ball stuff right now and looks really comfortable. He is very smooth, plays at his own pace, as Jake mentioned on the last pod. If you want to go listen to that, you can hear all of Jake's breakdown of Constanza. Samuels looks like the better shooter to me. They're both, scorers and really, really high-level wing players who I think Constanza has a little bit of a question about whether his motor at times. I'm not sure that you've got that with Qayden Samuels. He looks like he's got a pretty good motor, but Constanza is a guy who's going to get you buckets at all three levels. I don't know if it's either or there. I think it's potentially, we just don't know whether Ed Cooley is prioritizing one over the other or would gladly take both. My sense is he'd gladly take both and build around them. I don't know that it would make sense for both of them to come to Georgetown. We don't have any word on Constanza. He is on the Puma circuit, so he's not playing in the EYBL Peach Jam. He played this past week at their summer event, looked great, is clearly a great player. Both of these guys are clearly great players. So we'll see. If we get news about either of them, we'll let you know. I think if Georgetown were able to land either of them, it would be a big deal and a great pickup. But you can watch Qayden Samuels with Jordan Smith on Team Takeover, which you should do because a lot of fun, and they are both really good, and you can get irrationally excited about the prospect of both of them coming to Georgetown. I don't know that they're looking to play with each other. They certainly seem open to it. And as I said, Georgetown has prioritized both of them for a while. So they're not a package deal necessarily, but they seem to be open to playing with each other at the next level. Qayden had this to say about Georgetown recently. I love Georgetown. Georgetown is always showing love. They invite me to everything. I'm at every game, front, courtside. It's amazing. I love Georgetown. I love Ed Cooley. He's himself, and I feel like if I have a coach like that who can be himself around me and trust me, I'll be good. Again, that's another really good quote. It's kind of what you want to hear. Good relationship. Likes Ed Cooley, loves Georgetown. They're inviting him to everything. All the stuff that you want to hear. Does that mean he's going to go to Georgetown? I don't know. Other schools that are in with him, Rutgers. Notably, he says he models his game after Dylan Harper, who just went top 5 in the NBA draft. He went second to San Antonio, son of Ron Harper, for those who are listening and want to feel old. Dylan Harper. So Rutgers is involved. UConn, though he says his sister, who's played basketball there before transferring to NC State, was at UConn, and so he mainly went to watch and support her. Will be, I think, trying to schedule a visit there. Not sure about that. Villanova's involved. Maryland's involved. Louisville seems like it's involved, but maybe not super aggressively. So he's in the running. Be great pickup, and he's got a lot of good things to say about Georgetown. Next on the list, Luca Foster, playing for Team Final out of Philly. He's a number 37 player in the 2026 class, so a consensus top 50 guy, 4-star, 6'5", small forward, is going to be playing at Link Academy in Branson or St. Louis, Missouri. His senior year, Link Academy is one of the college prep programs that are specifically designed to prep high major athletes. He's from Philly initially, so that's why he's playing for the Philly team final. Team final, for those of you keeping track, Thomas Sorber's AAU team. Thomas Sorber, a standout at Peach Jam a couple of years ago. Foster is probably a step behind Samuels and Constanza just in terms of offensive ability. He's a good scorer, but a little bit more of a slasher. We talked a lot about Luca last week with Jake, so you can go listen to that pod if you want more of an in-depth thing. He sort of popped up on the radar. Looks like Georgetown has kind of gotten involved late, but had him on campus a few weeks ago for a visit. I think it was an unofficial visit, but they had him on campus there. He's getting recruited by some local Philly schools. Villanova's involved. I think St. Joe's is involved as well locally. Penn State's on him. Pitt. I think he's getting some Michigan love as well. But he's a solid kid who's going to be around for 3 to 4 years. If he doesn't transfer and can help build a program, I think he can grow into a really solid player. He is a really solid player and can only improve, I think. I'll be excited to watch more of him. Again, he's a guy who just popped up on the radar, so I haven't seen a lot of him, but I look forward to watching him at Peach Jam, playing with Team Final, and you can check out the schedule on the site to get more info on when and how to watch him. Last, but certainly not least, we've got Maximo Adams, another just absolutely great name, playing for Team Vegas Elite. He is a California kid, number 41 player in the class. Again, a consensus top 50. He's a 6'6" small forward. Lots of small forwards. Playing at the NOTA program in California, Sierra Canyon. He is, again, another small forward. So clearly an area that Ed is prioritizing for the high school level. He is 6'6", but he looks big to me compared to even some of these other guys. He looks bigger, stronger, a little bit more filled out. That's from film and YouTube clips, so not always reliable there. If anybody's seen him in person or can vouch, I think please let us know. But he looks big, a little bit raw as a scorer. His shot is kind of high, but probably needs a little bit of work, but he cuts really well and finishes really well around the rim and is a really good rebounder. He leads the EYBL circuit over 14 or 15 games in double doubles, and he's second in rebounds per game. So he is a slightly different type of player than I think the other three, certainly than Qayden and Alex. He is less of a scorer or score first guy and more of a do a lot of different things. He's a kid to me who, he's 6'6" now. He could grow a couple of inches and easily move into the 4 spot. Again, this is based off of film and video that I've seen of him on YouTube. So take that with a grain of salt. Maybe he's tiny. I don't think he's tiny, but he could be. He grows a couple of inches. He becomes a little bit bigger. He can rebound. He's a 4. Interesting sort of allotment of players, all at the small forward level, except for Jordan Smith that Georgetown is on. All guys that sort of share, I think, the ability to do a lot of things. Constanza and Qayden Samuels are offensively guys who have very high-level skills. Maximo Adams and Luca Foster are guys who not as high-level offensive skills, but do other things really well and play really hard, I think. So a lot to like there. Guys who just look like Ed Cooley guys to me. He said recently that Coach LaDante Henton is a primary recruiter who is on him. He has recently picked up steam in the past couple of months, jumping up the recruiting list. We'll see where he ends up after Peach Jam. There's certainly guys who pop after Peach Jam and get recruited really heavily. He is on lists for West Coast schools who are, of course, now in the Big Ten, those traditional Big Ten programs of USC and Oregon. What a stupid league. Anyways, USC and Oregon are recruiting him, as is their Big Ten rival and our Big Ten rival, I will say, Illinois. We'll get into why Illinois is a Big Ten rival of ours on a future episode, I think. But I think with the news this past weekend, the look up what Terrence Shannon did to Micah Peavy in the NBA Summer League, I think, and following on Ed's, Coach Cooley's comments about Illinois, I think it's safe to say we have a rival in Champaign, and I'm all here for it. I think let's go. Schedule the home and home, and let's get gritty. So those are the 4 guys to be looking for. Again, the schedules are up on our website. Let me know if there are other guys on your radar or other guys that you're looking forward to. Again, we're looking at 2026 guys, but we're happy to share, others as well. If there are guys who are in the 2027 class or 2028 class that you're really excited about, good for you. Send them. We'll share them. We'll talk about them. And also let me know if this is a format that you love, like, absolutely despise. Again, this is not my preferred method of podcasting and not going to be the preferred method of podcasting. I don't think you all are signed up to hear from me and me alone, but schedules being what they are and the content being what it is, I just wanted to give you all a quick rundown to prep you for Peach Jam for those of you who need that summer basketball fix. So do let us know if you like, even if you like recruiting rundowns like this. We can certainly do more of those. We can do more of the analysis stuff with Jake and others like we did last week. I encourage you to go back and listen to that for more on Alex Constanza and Luca Foster, where Jake gets into both of their games. We will be back with more news, more notes, more analysis, all of the stuff from the Finger WAG. Thank you for listening. Like us, subscribe, do all of that stuff. We really appreciate it as we continue to just take our first baby steps here. We appreciate all of the support. And Hoyas.